Hello everyone. This is Six Path Weeb, and today we're stepping into a world where shinobi legends meet arcane mastery. Imagine a reality where Naruko finds herself in the mysterious halls of the Arcane Academy, a place filled with ancient magic, hidden knowledge, and power that challenges everything she knows. How would her journey unfold? Would her chakra adapt to magic, or would she redefine the rules entirely? That's the story we're diving into today. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is created purely for entertainment and discussion. I do not own any anime footage used in my videos. All rights belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Let's begin. Far away from the islands of Japan, there lay a hidden island unlike any the world had ever known. It was shaped like a great turtle resting upon the sea, its land painted in bright, living colors. Wide plains stretched beneath towering trees, and gentle hills rolled toward a proud mountain that watched over everything. At the heart of the island shimmered a spiral-shaped lake, wrapped in a thick forest filled with unusual plants and curious magical creatures, some large, some glowing, and all part of the island's quiet mystery. This island belonged to the Uzumaki clan, one of the three noble clans of the Japanese magical world. The clan was known for its extraordinary magical talent and strong bonds of family. Powerful charms protected the island, keeping it hidden from non-magical people, who would see nothing but fog and endless sea. On the eastern side of the island stood a magnificent castle, nestled within a valley and framed by mountains like a painted scene. From the outside, it appeared to have 5 stories, but inside it held 6 levels, supported by gentle, steady magic. Its dark walls gave it strength, while rows of cherry blossom trees lining the entrance added warmth and beauty. A peaceful lake lay to the south, and the surrounding grounds were filled with gardens, training fields, and smaller buildings. This castle had once been home to Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze, 2 of the most gifted magic users of their time. They were remembered not only for their strength, but for their kindness and courage. They had given everything to protect their world, leaving behind their child, a bright and spirited girl named Naruko. Now 11 years old, Naruko Uzumaki carried both her parents' legacy and her own growing dreams. She had bright, spiky blonde hair with a faint red shimmer and eyes of 2 different colors, one blue, one violet. A small violet diamond-shaped mark rested on her forehead, a sign of her unique magical potential. Place: the library in the Uzumaki castle. The castle's library was a wonder in itself. Though its doorway seemed ordinary, stepping inside revealed a vast, towering space stretching across multiple levels. Wooden bridges connected high shelves filled with countless books and scrolls. Soft torchlight glowed warmly, making it a perfect place for learning and quiet thought. The collection held knowledge of both magical and everyday worlds, everything from advanced spells to simple recipes. Books were carefully protected with charms and arranged by difficulty, from beginner levels to the rare and powerful S-class, which only members of the Uzumaki lineage could access. Late one evening, 2 figures entered the library. The first was Tsunade Senju, a respected and powerful witch. Though she had lived many years, her magic allowed her to maintain a youthful appearance. She wore a green haori over a simple outfit, and a beautiful green crystal necklace rested at her collar. Beside her stood Shizune, her calm and caring apprentice, dressed in a neat kimono and watching everything with gentle attention. They soon spotted Naruko, sitting in her favorite corner, completely absorbed in a large, worn book. Her eyes moved quickly across the pages, filled with curiosity and excitement. Tsunade smiled slightly before calling out, "Naruko." Naruko looked up immediately, her face lighting up. "Yes, Grandma?" Tsunade's expression changed at once. "Don't call me that, brat. Call me auntie or something else." Naruko tilted her head, grinning. "But you are old enough to be my grandma." "I am not old," Tsunade protested, crossing her arms. Shizune quietly covered her mouth, trying not to laugh. After a moment, she gently cleared her throat to bring their attention back. Naruko looked between them, still smiling. "Hi, Shizune-chan." Shizune returned the smile warmly. "Hello, Naruko. What are you reading so late?" Naruko carefully held up the book. "It's about ancient sealing magic. Some of the symbols glow when I trace them. I think they're trying to teach me something." Tsunade raised an eyebrow, now more curious than annoyed. "You've been studying that on your own?" Naruko nodded eagerly. "I want to understand everything I can. Not just strong magic, but helpful magic too. The kind that protects people. Like my parents did." The room grew quiet for a moment, filled with a gentle sense of pride. Tsunade sighed softly, though a small smile appeared. "You've got their spirit, that's for sure." Naruko beamed, closing her book carefully. I'll get stronger, Auntie Tsunade. Not just for me, but for everyone. Shizune stepped closer and placed a hand on Naruko's shoulder. And we'll be here to help you every step of the way. Under the warm glow of the library lights, surrounded by endless knowledge, Naruko felt something steady and comforting grow inside her, a promise that no matter how big the world was, she would face it with kindness, courage, and a heart full of hope. Are you done? She asked. Both Tsunade and Naruko nodded, still a little surprised. Naruko walked over and sat on the right side of the chair. She gently pointed to the leather book and asked, "Now, Naruko-chan, what are you reading?" "I'm just looking at my family tree from my father's side," Naruko replied, opening the book with care. Tsunade leaned forward with interest and took a seat across from her. "My father's family was originally from England," Naruko continued thoughtfully. "They were a magical family, just like my mother's, and they were said to be descended from Salazar Slytherin, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry." She paused, thinking. If they came from such an important magical family, why did they move to Japan? "I can answer that," Tsunade said gently. Naruko and Shizune both looked at her with curiosity. "I once asked your father the same question," Tsunade explained. "He told me that his family cared deeply about keeping their traditions and magic strong. But your grandparents felt differently. They believed in kindness, openness, and starting fresh." Tsunade smiled softly. "So they chose a new path. They left their old home and came to Japan to build a peaceful life. They even took new names to protect their new beginning." Shizune tilted her head. "So Namikaze isn't Minato-sama's original name?" "That's right," Tsunade replied. Naruko blinked. "Then, what is my father's real surname?" Tsunade gave a calm but firm look. "For now, it's better not to worry about that." Naruko looked down at the book, a little puzzled, but she nodded quietly. After a moment, she looked back up. "I want to go to Hogwarts for my magical studies." Tsunade raised an eyebrow in surprise. "Oh? And why is that?" "Because I want to see the school my ancestor helped create," Naruko said with bright eyes. "I want to learn there and understand more about where I come from." Tsunade studied her for a moment, then gave a small smile. "I will speak to Sarutobi-sensei about it. But for now, it's time to rest." Naruko nodded. She carefully closed the book and placed it aside before heading out of the library, with Tsunade and Shizune following behind. As they left, the book gently floated back to its place on the shelf. 1 week later. Place, the Uzumaki Dojo on Uzumaki Island. The dojo stood peacefully beside the castle. Inside, a wide hall stretched across the space, with soft mats covering the floor. Wooden practice tools and training equipment were neatly arranged along the walls. Early in the morning, Naruko was already practicing. Holding a wooden training sword, she moved with focus and grace. Her movements were smooth and steady, like flowing water. She practiced carefully, concentrating on balance, rhythm, and control. In her family, learning both magic and traditional skills was important. It helped build discipline, patience, and harmony between mind and body. Naruko continued her practice, repeating each movement with care. "Naruko-chan, it's time for breakfast," Shizune called gently as she entered. "Okay, Nate-chan," Naruko replied with a smile. "I'll be there in a minute." "Don't take too long," Shizune added playfully. "Tsunade-sama wants to talk to you." A few minutes later. Place, Uzumaki Castle dining room. Naruko sat at the table with Tsunade and Shizune, enjoying a warm breakfast. Suddenly, with a soft pop, a small creature appeared beside the table. "Master Naruko, please forgive Yuki for being late," she said in a cheerful, high voice. Yuki was a kind house elf with large, bright eyes and a warm smile. She wore a simple white dress decorated with the Uzumaki symbol. "It's okay, Yuki-chan," Naruko said kindly. Yuki beamed with happiness. With a snap of her fingers, more delicious food appeared neatly on the table. Then, with another soft pop, she disappeared. Naruko turned to Tsunade. "So, what did you want to talk about?" Tsunade took a sip of tea. "I received a reply from Sarutobi-sensei." Naruko sat up straighter. "What did she say?" Tsunade smiled. "She would like to meet you today." Naruko's eyes lit up with excitement. "We're going to the headquarters of the Japanese Ministry of Magic," Tsunade continued. "We're going to Tokyo." Naruko felt her heart fill with anticipation. A new journey was about to begin. Place, Tokyo. Tokyo was the capital of Japan, the center of the Greater Tokyo area, and one of the largest metropolitan regions in the world. It was home to both ordinary citizens and the hidden community of witches and wizards. Deep within the city stood the headquarters of the Japanese Ministry of Magic. The new headquarters had been moved to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, often called Tokyo City Hall or Tocho, on a special hidden level between floors. It was here that important magical decisions were made. So this is the new Tokyo City Hall, Naruko said, gazing up at the tall structure beside Tsunade. It's amazing. Tsunade smiled gently. It truly is. Come along. They stepped inside and approached the front desk. 33/2th floor, Tsunade said calmly. The guard immediately recognized her and stood respectfully. Tsunade-sama, welcome. Of course. He handed her a small silver coin. Instead of heading toward the elevator, Tsunade led Naruko to a quiet room at the back. Where are we going? Naruko asked, curious. You'll see, Tsunade replied kindly. She tapped the door with her wand and spoke a soft spell. The door opened to reveal a gentle, glowing elevator attendant, a friendly ghost in uniform. Welcome, the ghost girl said warmly. They stepped inside. Tsunade handed over the coin. 33/2th floor. The ghost nodded and pressed the buttons. The elevator moved smoothly, and within moments, it stopped with a soft chime. That was fast, Naruko said, her eyes bright with wonder. It's a special magical elevator, Tsunade explained. It connects different magical places across Tokyo. Your company helped create it. Naruko blinked. My company? Yes, Tsunade said. Uzumaki Enterprises has a magical research team. One day, you'll lead it. Naruko thought about that quietly, feeling both surprised and excited. Soon, they arrived at the ministry floors and made their way to a peaceful corridor lined with golden light. Two guards stood beside a large door. Welcome, Tsunade-sama, they said politely. The doors opened, revealing a breathtaking space filled with blooming cherry blossom trees and a sky-like ceiling. Naruko smiled as petals drifted through the air. She gently caught one in her palm. These are beautiful, she whispered. They continued along the path and entered an office. Inside sat Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Minister for Magic. He looked up from his work and smiled warmly. Naruko, it's been a while, he said kindly, standing to greet her. I'm doing well, she replied with a bright smile. Tsunade looked at the stack of papers on his desk. You've been very busy. Hiruzen chuckled softly. That's part of the job. They all took seats. I have good news, Hiruzen said. I contacted a special school overseas, and they have accepted you. Naruko leaned forward. Really? Just then, the door opened, and a tall, kind-looking wizard entered. This is my friend, Hiruzen said. Albus Dumbledore. Naruko greeted him politely. Dumbledore smiled warmly. It's wonderful to meet you, Naruko. He handed her a letter. It was from Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Naruko read it carefully, her eyes lighting up with excitement. I would love to go, she said. Dumbledore nodded. We would be delighted to have you. Naruko thought for a moment. May I bring a special companion with me? As long as they are kind and well-behaved, Dumbledore replied gently. Naruko smiled. A soft shadow formed at her feet, swirling like a breeze. It slowly took shape into a graceful raven. The bird shimmered slightly, then settled onto her shoulder. This is Karasu-chan, Naruko said proudly. She's my guardian. The raven gave a gentle call, as if greeting everyone. Dumbledore's eyes twinkled. A wonderful companion indeed. Naruko felt a warm sense of happiness. A new journey was about to begin, one filled with learning, friendship, and magic. The raven was larger than any forest raven that Albus Dumbledore had ever seen. She had deep black feathers with a soft, luminous sheen that gave her a noble presence. Her wings were broad and graceful, each feather long and perfectly aligned, and her tail fanned out in sharp, elegant lines. A small crest like that of a jay rose from her head, adding to her proud and regal look. Across her body, faint purple runes shimmered gently, as if they were alive with quiet magic. Her eyes glowed a warm red in the dim light, not frightening, but watchful and wise. Most unusual of all, she stood on 3 legs instead of 2, each one a rich violet shade tipped with glossy black talons. Her beak, long and slightly curved, gleamed with the same subtle purple hue. On her left leg was a silvery black band engraved with the spiral crest of the Uzumaki clan, marking her loyalty. "Gramps, meet Karasu-chan," said Naruko Uzumaki with a cheerful smile. "Is she a Yatagarasu?" Dumbledore asked, observing the three-legged bird with keen interest. "Yes. Have you seen one before?" Naruko replied. Dumbledore shook his head gently. "This is my first time seeing one in person. I've read about them. They are said to be incredibly rare, even more so than a phoenix. They prefer to remain hidden, so very little is known about them." "Because most of us prefer the spirit world," came a calm, gentle voice, soft as a breeze, echoing inside his thoughts. Dumbledore's eyes widened slightly. "You can speak telepathically. Remarkable. Even so, it is not easy to reach my mind." "We are natural telepaths," Karasu replied simply. "I see," Dumbledore said thoughtfully. "So your kind lives in the spirit world?" "Yes." With a graceful motion, Karasu lifted into the air. A faint, shadowy trail followed her as she circled once and then slipped quietly into Naruko's shadow, as though it were a doorway. Dumbledore watched with fascination. Then he turned to Naruko. "Where did you meet her?" "She has been with Naruko since birth," said Tsunade warmly. "Karasu is deeply loyal and always looks after her. She's also very intelligent and has a strong connection to shadows." "You have a truly wonderful companion," Dumbledore said kindly. "Thank you," Naruko replied, her eyes shining. "Now then," Dumbledore continued, "the school term at Hogwarts begins on September 1st. Someone will come to guide you there." Naruko nodded eagerly. "Time to go," Tsunade added gently. "I think they have more to discuss." "Goodbye, Gramps," Naruko said brightly before leaving with Tsunade. 2 months later, in Naruko's room at the Uzumaki residence, sunlight filtered through tall windows, lighting up the soft blue walls and neatly arranged shelves of books. Her bed was carefully made, and her trunk lay open as she packed for school. "Is this enough?" asked Shizune, holding a neat stack of clothes. "Yes, Shizune-chan," Naruko answered. "That's perfect." With a small flick of her wand, the clothes folded themselves neatly into the silver-black trunk marked with the Uzumaki spiral. "Anything else?" Shizune asked. "Extra shoes," Naruko said. "They are here, Master Naruko," said Yuki, appearing with a gentle pop and placing them carefully inside. Just then, Tsunade entered, holding Tauntaun in her arms while several books and a wooden practice sword floated behind her. "These are for you," Tsunade said. "Your studies are important." Naruko nodded seriously. "And one more thing," Tsunade added softly. "Close your eyes." Naruko did as she was told. A cool, gentle weight settled around her neck. When she opened her eyes, she saw a beautiful green crystal pendant. "It's my heirloom," Tsunade said with a small smile. "Now it's yours." Naruko's eyes widened. "Thank you, Granny." She hugged her tightly. Shizune then handed her a wrapped package. Inside was a soft, hooded jacket with the Uzumaki symbol. "It adjusts to fit you," Shizune explained. Naruko put it on, and it fit perfectly. "Try the hood," Shizune suggested. Naruko pulled it up, and instantly vanished. "Whoa," she laughed, pulling it back down and reappearing. "That's amazing." Yuki stepped forward shyly. "Yuki has a gift too." She handed Naruko a curious bag shaped like a creature's face. It blinked open like a friendly mouth and wiggled happily. "It's your mother's charm bag," Tsunade explained. "It can hold more than it looks like, and it recognizes you." Naruko smiled warmly. "Thank you, Yuki-chan." After gently putting the bag to sleep with a soft spell, she packed it away. "Ready?" Shizune asked. Naruko nodded. With everything prepared, Shizune shrank the trunk and tucked it safely away. "Let's go," she said. Naruko took a deep breath, her heart full of excitement and wonder, as she stepped forward into a brand new adventure. Dear YouTube family, that's all for now. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps the journey grow. Thank you for your time and support. More coming soon. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.